What's up, y'all? It's Christine Pelaez, ADHD, bipolar type 1, nurse, and your host of Soul Centered, a mental health podcast about all things taboo, vulnerable, and soul searching. I normalize talking about mental health so we can all truly know ourselves and become soul centered. My dream is to free us all from capitalism. On today's episode, this actually was an idea given to me by my creative coach at Nadia D. Alla. Because she asked me how I was doing, and I was like, I feel good, right? And she was like, isn't that incredible? Like, compared to where you were almost exactly 6 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, yes. This is good. like this is an episode material. So yeah, before we get into that, welcome to my bed. I live in San Francisco, and if you've been with me before, then you know that I like to move around my studio because I have like such cute little spaces, and I really take time to decorate my place. And I feel like it's an extension of me, and this podcast is totally me. And I want to share like the fun. I'm like nervous right now. It's so weird. Like earlier I was kind of like shaky, and I was like, ugh, what's this about? Like it might be my lithium, but I haven't been like this. Like you probably can't see, but I have a little bit of a tremor. And I was like, is this a food thing? So then I ate lunch, because right now it's noon, and so I ate lunch. And anyhow, yeah, being honest, right? Always so honest. So this, I think this wall is actually my favorite in my place right now. Here's my cat. There's my cat. This is did I tell you about my crying sock? So you know how, like, because I'm trying to be like less wasteful. And you know how you get like, lonesome socks, right? Like, because one of them goes missing. So I use them to cry in, and I anticipate crying today. So it's here. It's ready. This is my cat, and I was wondering if he was going to wake up, but no, he's right here. Yeah. If you like cats. So cute, huh? This is actually his bed. It's a pillow of mine. I have too many pillows. Yeah, I definitely have too many pillows. And this one he took a liking to, and actually he like sleeps on it sometimes. And my sister, who sometimes sleeps over, she was saying like, oh wow, you have a bed for him. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. So that's nice. Let's see. Okay, the main things that I wanted to show you on this wall. I feel like I can't tell you about everything, because then that will leave me nothing to talk about, the next time we're here. So I made these. I made this one, and this one. So, oh gosh, this one says, congrats, you make my heart ache. So that was, regarding somebody. Because like, I feel like having a crush, and like there's a little bit of like pain there when you have like a crush, and it's not, turning into what you want or what have you, or it's nothing at all, but it's kind of fun and painful at the same time, life, right? So, and this one says, go dissociate, daydream. So this was also like a kind of a command to myself, and we'll talk about this later, but how sometimes, no, not sometimes, but in Rest is Resistance by Trisha Hersey, practically my Bible. In Rest is Resistance, she tells us, one of the ways that we can rest is to daydream, and I love doing that. So I made this piece. And this one says, fuck that noise, because fuck that noise, as in like, sometimes, like, it's all extra bullshit to make you like advice, or especially your own inner critic, right? Like perfectionism, that's one of mine, and I dealt with that a lot today, actually. Like today I was I wanted to wear this cute little beret thing, but it's kind of hot. So then I decided not to do it. So when I was choosing earrings, I was like, oh, this is not, it didn't feel quite right. But I was like, okay, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay, just pick one, right? And so I ended up with these. They're fun. Yeah. So that, and oh, look at this thing. Isn't it kind of funny? That is from Portland. So one of my best friends lives in Portland. And there's this one artist, Mike Bennett. Yeah, that does like fun, like cartoony type things. I'm clearly into kitschy things, just like my friend Genesis is. Anyway, okay. Yeah. So that's my little corner. This is my bed. That's my little corner of my bed, I guess. So, how I wanted to start off this podcast in terms of like the deep info or the deep material is to actually read from my memoir. So, I published a memoir kind of recently. It's called Soul Centered. A nurse's fucked up memoir, including a life-changing code blue, a rage attack, and a bipolar hospitalization. So let's get into it, because it was exactly 6 months ago that I had my mental health crisis, and this talks about it. Okay, so let me read to you. Stop ready. Okay, Chapter 1, January 2024, The Code. I know we have souls because I kept one from leaving this wretched earth. I kept an exhausted soul from leaving its broken body. I work in a cancer infusion center where we frequently give life-threatening chemotherapy. Allergic reactions do happen, but we intervene quickly and it's usually no big deal. That is, until one day in January 2024. When I heard my coworker's patient was having a reaction, instinct told me to check out the scene and help. First, I scanned the patient. They're okay right now. Then, I scanned the patient's nurse. She's okay right now. Instinct again told me to stay by the patient's side, despite the okay-looking scene. Then, the charge nurse and nurse practitioner arrived to help out. Instinct again positioned me right next to the patient's face. Next, we gave all the emergency reaction medications. Useless. The patient was starting to look really bad. Then, we started expecting the worst. Press the code blue button, announced the nurse practitioner. I took a deep breath and pushed the button. The scene soon turned into chaos as the code team arrived. I remained glued, face to face with the patient, stroking their hair, rubbing their shoulder, and telling them not only what's going on, but also offering endless words of encouragement. The team started to worry about the patient losing consciousness because a team member was starting to keep the patient awake by producing pain by rubbing the patient's sternum. It then became my goal to keep the patient awake and alive. It was then I saw the patient's eyes roll back. Hey, hey, hey! I screamed at them. Startled eyes jumped back to meet mine. My eyes expressed all my emotions since a mask covered half my face. I know you're scared, I pleaded. I know you're tired. This is a lot, but you're doing a great job, okay? I am here with you. You stay right here with me, okay? You're not allowed to look away. Got it? The patient got it, and their soul got it too, and they stayed alive with me. I knew the code was over when the patient became fully awake. My job was done, and I walked away. I fucking saved a life, and not only was it business as usual after that traumatic event, but not one damn fucking person acknowledged my contribution. Within 15 minutes of leaving the code, I put back on my nurse smile and gave 2 buttocks shots to a first-time patient. Wow, they said, I didn't even feel them. Can you always be my nurse? Jesus fucking Christ. I just saved the patient from dying and I can still be at my best? Fuck this place, fuck this system that makes it standard for this exploitation to be expected. I was pissed. I was well aware that we were constantly being exploited. Eventually, the code debrief came, and it was so superficial. And still, no one acknowledged me. Bitter much? Yes, I'm really bitter, because I know it can look so much better for us staff who give so fucking much every single day. This is how a soul-centered debrief should look. I'll call it code care. The debrief is run by someone whose job is emotion-based, like a chaplain or social worker. Staff all gather within arm's distance of each other so we can feel each other's support and can touch if necessary. Whoever participated in the code gathers in the middle, and we have a moment of silence for those who need to release emotion. I believe the future of healthcare is soul-centered, both for patients and staff alike. Soul-centered means we must care for the soul above all else. Trisha Hersey taught me best. We must rest to truly connect to our souls within. She also said, #rest is resistance. The way healthcare is run right now is very obviously like a business of exhausted, caring for exhausted. Employees at the front lines, like myself, are stretched past our breaking points because the few at the top don't give a fuck about us. The more exhausted we are, the further we are from connecting to our souls within. Trisha made me realize the top few want us exhausted and disconnected from within. To them, we are seen as replaceable pawn. But this game they play isn't sustainable. And one day we will stand together and we will rest. Once we are rested, we start to see clearly and will refuse to play by their rules. Refuse to be abused. Once we rest and connect to our souls, it'll be game the fuck over. And we will create a rested and soul-centered world. A world that we can be truly proud of. Back to my fucked story. 2 days after the code, I thankfully already had a primary care provider appointment the next day. I was in a shocked state of despair and rage. My provider said, "You're in a mental health crisis," and also said that my PTSD was reactivated because last year, work also put me in a mental health crisis and I got diagnosed with PTSD. She put me on a medical leave of absence from work. She gave me 3 whole months off because, quote, mental illness takes time to heal, quote. I was given a referral to a social worker who emailed me that I could be a candidate to start an intensive outpatient psychiatry program. I called them and, surprise, surprise, they're all waitlisted and it could take weeks for an opening. Clearly, we the people are suffering and institutions can't keep up. So that concludes chapter 1. Did I cry? I didn't cry. Not that crying's bad, but I'm just surprised. You know what? Earlier today, I guess it was my anxiety or perfectionism or who knows, but I read it, I read through it and I cried then. So maybe I got my crying out. Then, I want to write something down. Okay, I don't know if I could read that. Okay, so this was me 6 months ago. Mental health crisis, right? Yeah, gosh, I'm like not even sure. I think that's part of the reason why maybe this is part of the reason why I was nervous today, because I wasn't sure exactly what to say. But I guess this spoke for me, I hope. This fucked me up. I truly believe we have souls. And when they say that eyes are the window to the souls, no joke. Because, yeah, this is good. I'm talking about it. Okay, great. Whew. Okay, so I truly believe she would not be alive. Ooh, I use they, them, but she's still, you don't know who she is. So I truly believe that she would not be alive had it not been for me, right? Her eyes wanted to roll back. Had I not been there to call her back, her body was fucking She has, think about it, right? And this is why I think about like soul-centered. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna think about, sorry, I'm like getting in the way of myself. I'm like overthinking. So this was her first time receiving scary chemotherapy, or chemotherapy period. And it was a scary one, right? So it's like, you're receiving chemotherapy because you have fucking cancer. You're gonna die if you don't receive chemotherapy. And so, like, that's why I said in my memoir, like, her body was broken because her body had something wrong with it, and we needed it to intervene. And sometimes our interventions, the things that we need to do for the patient, is dangerous and scary. And it's like, yeah, being a healthcare provider, it really fucks you up, honestly. Like, you see so many things that are just wrong, and then this Western healthcare system is all about fixing, is all about keeping the patient alive. We don't talk about enough. We don't talk in depth or enough about quality of life, right? We don't talk about that. And I'm not saying that, I'm not talking specifically about her scenario, okay? I'm just saying in general, and the taboos, we're getting into the taboos of healthcare, for sure. And you talk to any nurse, any kind of nurse. My sister right now is a nurse at a long-term facility, and it's like, I don't know, there are already the things that she's seen, and the stances that she has, like, this is fucked up. It's like, yeah, it is fucked up. Yeah. So wasn't that so cute? Did you see that? Could you see? Maybe you couldn't see it. But while I was talking, and who knows, in my mind I was like, because I was expressing such like hard emotions. Pluto, my cat, he put his little paw on me. It was like comforting. Anyway. So we see a lot of things that are not right. And then we are the ones always providing care and knowing that this is kind of unethical. It feels unethical, right? To keep a body that is near death alive because we want to play God. Like, I understand. It's different, and I'm not talking about when there's a chance, right? Or like that the quality of life can be good. I'm talking about it's unethical when we are keeping a body alive that's in pain. We are keeping a body of life whose quality of life is fucking shit. It's like, where's the line? There is no line here. It's all about money, right? Keep them in the hospital as long as possible. Let's milk the insurance. That's what it feels like. That's what it is like. Oh boy. So anyway, a soul is real. And at that point I had read Trisha Hersey's, or listened to. She wants you to listen to it while you're resting, while you're relaxing. I listened to Trisha Hersey talk about the soul, and I think it's true. You know what I mean? Like, when I say soul-centered, and I named my book Soul-Centered mainly because of this traumatic event and how I saved a life, I saved the soul. That was my role in the code, was to keep her soul alive. There isn't that role in healthcare. There isn't that role in an emergency, you know, and I made it my role instinctively, right? There isn't science about instincts, but that's why I talked about it. Instinct told me to do it. Like, if you were thinking about like what makes sense, like I didn't have to be there. There was enough hands on deck, but no one's thinking about the soul. But my soul was thinking about this patient's soul. That's what I think happened, because I'm more in touch with my soul. Yeah. Bye-bye. Okay. So, I feel like that covers enough. of that and where I was and how fucked up I was. And so I also want to in upcoming episodes, but a lot of times, like my previous episodes were just, they came out of inspiration. The material or the topic came out of inspiration. So usually I'll just be living life, and usually it's actually talking to my therapist. But I only talk to my therapist every 2 weeks. And I think she was telling me that I'm kind of okay right now, which is incredible. And she, she said to me, and I'm just gonna say this out loud, so it's like another like pat on my back. She was like, "You're kicking ass, Christine. You're kicking ass and taking names. Like that I've been doing so well. Because I'm serious. I'm serious about working on my mental health. You know what I mean? And I think it's just me, honestly, this is shaming myself, but like it's just like the overachiever in me. But working on yourself, I think, is a good thing, and especially if it enhances, oh shit. Oops. Okay. Especially if I feel like, what happened was I closed my laptop, and my laptop is recording my voice for the podcast, and so, and it's still on. Sometimes I'm depressed a little bit. Should I close it? Meh. Okay, so now we can get into, that was me and where I am now. It is incredible. Like, I was at this place and my therapist also remarked on how much effort I put in because, I was hospitalized and diagnosed with bipolar type, I was diagnosed with bipolar, the type 1 came later. And then after discharge, I got into a program, a partial hospitalization program that focuses on skills to cope, and I took it very seriously, and I felt like it was like school, and I was a good student, so I took it very seriously. But I mean, it made sense for me to take it very seriously because it was my mental health, it was my health. And so I learned so much in that time, and then I have a binder. I have a DBT binder. DBT is what we learned in the program. And I have a binder that spells out, all the skills. Yeah, and I sometimes refer to it, actually, like last episode when I was like suicidal, I was like, okay, I need to calm myself down. I looked to it for strategies. I looked in the wrong section, but thankfully I listened to myself. See, that is something that I have learned to do, is like I've actually started listening to my body and my needs. And my therapist told me that. She was like, you need to give into your needs more. I forgot the exact words she said, but something like that. And I've been doing that, and that is exactly, I thought of her, like when I was suicidal and I was like, oh my god, I can't. I thought of her. She was like, you have to listen to your body and take care of yourself and give into your needs. What does your body need? And that's when I asked myself, like, what do I need right now? And I was like, I need to call my sister. And I thought of her, and that's what it was. And so I called my sister. And so now I'm like, and also, like, before I used to, for example, I used to pick outfits and not care as much about, like, the comfort, right? And so today, as I mentioned earlier, I was gonna wear this hat. And then I was like, I'm too hot. And I know that I'm gonna get even more like agitated or worked up, like reading from my memoir. So I'm not gonna wear it, and so I applaud myself for that too. Nadia, my creative coach, she's always like, celebrate the small wins, and I feel like these are nice steps that I'm taking to really take care of myself. And so that goes into where I am right now. I feel like I am taking care of myself. Like, which is kind of interesting because like I am definitely an overachiever and a perfectionist, right? And so with that was always this sense of urgency, go, 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 perform, because what? I definitely felt like I wasn't worthy if I wasn't producing. That's fucking capitalism, right? And that's why I've changed my tagline to be, I talk mental health to free us all from capitalism. Nadia helped me think of that tagline because that's what it is. And what I mean by that, and you're like, maybe you don't see the connection. I think if we all talked about our mental health, then we can't be abused anymore by fucking capitalism, by work. You know what I mean? If we all admitted that we're suffering, then they can't say no. Or they can't say no, excuse me. They can't abuse us, right? And this is how you take a stance. And that's my dream. That's my fucking dream. And that's why I'm here, bearing my fucking soul to you, because I want to inspire you to do the same. I mean, you're probably not to, at first not going to be as intense as what I do, but even a little bit will go a long way, right? So that's my dream there. Yeah, I was, in terms of relaxing, right? I was shaming myself for not, I was like, I don't know how to relax, but also that could be the ADHD. I am actively pursuing an official ADHD diagnosis because I claim it. I don't have an official diagnosis, but it's definitely there. Yeah. So one of the symptoms of ADHD is inability to relax. And so that's why, and I was like, okay, that's first one of the reasons why I was like, oh my gosh, but this ADHD is probably one of the reasons why I can't relax. But second of all, I had this and this is one of the things also with me, is like, I see black and white. I'm trying to see the gray now. That's one thing that I'm working on, right? And also, this has to, see, they all tie in together. I always refer to all the same things. And like perfectionism, I feel like it's very black and white, because it's like, it has to be perfect. Impossible. It has to be this certain way, right? Or it's not good enough, right? Black and white. So now what I've learned from DBT is part of being mindful is being effective, like just doing the job so that it gets done, so the objectives get completed, right? It's not about doing it perfectly. And I learned that one of the ADHD components is also severe procrastination. I think I read, because you are looking to do it perfectly. Something like, I think I read that. So yeah. Just doing things effectively, right? So Charlene, my therapist, was like, Christine, I think you are associating relaxation with stillness. But relaxation is about doing things that make you feel relaxed. And I feel like that unlocks something in me. Just like, holy shit, I know how to relax. Because like, like I journal, that can be relaxing. And I do calligraphy too. And I do a lot of, like, not a lot of art, but I do art. But I do calligraphy. And calligraphy, you have to slow down, right? It is about being very intentional about your strokes. It's like drawing, it is. It's drawing letters, right? And you have to be very intentional about it. And so I've been doing a lot of calligraphy, and I love it because it really slows me down, and then I produce something beautiful, and it's also, my thoughts. So yeah, I know how to relax, and I do love my moments, honestly, of daydreaming, where I just like look out. You know what? Because I live actually, yeah, from my view. So I live in San Francisco, and we have fog, right? And so I can see fog from my window sometimes when I look. And fog's kind of special. It has a bad rep, for being cold and undesirable, but it's special in its own way. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so being grounded means being in the moment and not being in your like emotional thought process in your head. And I've gotten better at doing that. So that's me now. Yeah, that's what Nadia, my creative coach, said to me. She was like, "Look at you now. You're grounded." Like, and then that was the inspiration to this episode, the material for this episode. Just like, remember where you were 6 months ago. Yeah, totally in despair and in my head. Yeah, and you know what else I'm doing that's really cool is I'm eating healthier. Like, I grocery shop and I'm eating healthier, like more whole foods. More whole foods and not, because I used to eat a lot of like veggie patties and stuff like that. And of course, processed foods are not good for you. And so I eat healthier now. And part of it, I think, is because like I really want, it's kind of similar to when, I don't know if you've ever known somebody that had pre-diabetes, like a diagnosis of pre-diabetes, and they're like, and the provider is like, you better either become more healthy or you're gonna get diabetes. And that, and diabetes is not great, like, yeah. So it's kind of similar-ish, okay, but it's like, I have this diagnosis and I just want to make myself healthier because I have these conditions that need managing. Yeah, and they, of course, they also tell you, to eat healthy because that'll just be better. And so I'm kind of proud of that. Yeah. And it's like, and I don't even like crave like processed, especially except for chocolate. I like chocolate, but I still don't even eat it that much. But like I don't crave like processed, like the candy. Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. Yeah, I just wanted to share how being overworked, how capitalism fucked me up. Yeah. And how it pushed me over the edge when I was having chemical imbalances. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I was manic when that code happened, so that's not good. And then, so that's not the reason I got hospitalized, actually. So I'll probably read to you this chapter in a future episode, but I was, So I was dealing with insurance, and that triggered me, and I was so distraught and hysterical, and and that's what sent me into the hospital. I couldn't take care of myself. Yeah, so that was me. 6 months ago. And then now here I am after work. And so now I'm at this place where fuck you, work, you're not gonna fuck me up again. You know what? Like, good enough is good enough. You are not going to stretch me thin. I am not going to feel inadequate. I am not going to feel like I am not worthy because I am killing myself for a job. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about any of us. So it's like, I'm not gonna kill myself anymore. Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it for today. I'm Christine Pilates, and I talk mental health to free us all from capitalism. I'll see you next time.